Sexism in gaming.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
The rise and fall of G4TV is one of the great examples of how not to treat your customers or your fan base. It's also a great example of to read the room, understand who you are, and understand what got you to that place. And when you move away from that place, you're going to hurt yourself massively. If you have a vision for something you want to be or the company wants to be, and it doesn't align with what built that company, then create a new company and build it from the ground up. But of course, that's not the method in which people want to benefit from today. They want to take something that was already established so they don't have to work to build that foundation, and then they want to take full advantage of the opportunities that that foundation offers them, but they don't want to respect what created the foundation in the first place. And when that foundation rises up against the evil corporation that's trying to change everything, that same corporation wants to tell you, the fan, that you're the problem. You're the racist, you're the sexist, you're the toxic person. Well, if that person is so bad, if that fan is so bad, then why did you want the foundation in which made that fandom in the first place? Because they don't want to work for it. G4 is a classic example of how not to treat your customer and your fan base. Now, when the G4 announcement happened, when the return of G4, the resurrection of G4, G4 back from the dead, the announcement was everywhere. And it was generally positive across the internet. People were interested because the name G4 triggers a level of nostalgia. It just does. A lot of us grew up with G4. G4 was kind of like the ESPN for video gamers. It kind of legitimized video games. And you actually could see, hey, there's people out there like me, and they like video games, and there's really good-looking women that are part of this, and that looks cool, and that makes me feel cool. It was a way to feel accepted as a gamer, which is something that a lot of gamers growing up never felt. So G4 really carried a lot of weight from that perspective. Then once the announcement happened, you had, what, 4 million views just on Twitter with the announcement video on the official G4 account. You had returning names like Adam Sessler. There were rumors that Olivia Munn was in discussion. This created a lot of excitement, and they had everything going for them. Until, of course, the actual relaunch happened.
Sexism in gaming.
And it didn't take very long to realize that this was not the G4 that you recognized. It was similar to that of Star Wars, or Lord of the Rings, or DC, or Marvel. It was just another opportunity to take a brand that you were connected to from your past, reinvent it, but then try to tell you that you're wrong for not liking it. It's the same exact song and dance. A lot of the downfall started in December of 2021 when they had their Xbox prediction and preview show on XPlay. During this show, you had Frosk along with Adam Sessler, The Completionist, and Austin Creed. 3 of the 4 know what they're talking about. They absolutely do. There's no debating about that. 3 of the 4 know their gaming and know what's going on. Frosk did not know what she was talking about. In this video, Frosk starts talking about Xbox and PlayStation, and she makes the argument that the PlayStation 5 is dead on arrival, that it has no exclusives, that the PlayStation brand, it's dead. 2022 PlayStation 5 is DOA. Now, you could tell all 3 guys sitting there were wondering, what the hell are you talking about? But they were all terrified to actually challenge her, because you're not allowed to actually challenge a woman, especially a woman that will play the gender or the identity politics card. So they just sat there like idiots, dumbfounded at the things that Frosk was saying. But she was spewing nonsense. She had no idea what she was talking about. Upon this happening, she faced a lot of criticism and backlash, not because she's a woman, because she had no idea what she was talking about. And of course, the Sony PlayStation is a very big success. It's a massive success. PlayStation fans are very passionate, just like Nintendo fans, just like Xbox fans. Pretty much all fans are passionate, and when you make a ridiculous statement that is factually not true in any way, shape, or form, and you have no idea what you're talking about, you're going to face criticism, especially on the internet. Well, Frosk decided to turn that into an identity politics rant, and that's how we ultimately got to the sexism in gaming rant. The sexism in gaming rant is where everything ultimately started to unravel and fall apart.
Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. So maybe for 2022, we'd be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
Can I just say I feel bad for you?
I don't need to go. I don't need to. Frost,
I feel bad for
I don't need
At
to
that
go.
point in time, we started to realize that Frosk was here to destroy this company, and no one around her was going to challenge her or call her out or hold her accountable. They were all just going to sit there and clap like seals and pretend that she is brave and stunning, all while trashing the entire fan base right before our very eyes. Now, as this is playing out, people start to look into what's actually going on at G4. Who are the people involved with G4? This is when we realized Adam Sessler has a severe case of TDS. Blair Herter has a severe case of TDS. Now, does that mean that there's an inherent problem with the company because a few individuals at the company have a political opinion that might be different from certain other people? No, not at all. That is totally fine. There is no problem with having your individual political opinion, whatever that opinion may be. But once you started to see that that was the only political opinion that was being voiced within people at G4, you started to think, well, what's going on here? We had quotes from Adam Sessler, who said he wanted his Republican family members to die. That's what he said on Twitter. This man is completely unhinged. And this was more so the overwhelming majority of opinions that were being spoken at G4 from a political nature. They were all left-wing, far left-wing nonsense, and you couldn't find anyone on the opposite side of the equation. That was a really big problem. Then we find out things like Blair Herter and all of the things that he was saying in the past. Now, this is the guy who took Frosk rant and he tweeted about it, and he said, "If you don't hear the below, unfollow me and don't watch us. We're not for you." That is the vice president of the company telling you, the fan, that we're not here for you. These are unhinged rants from people that are actively destroying the company right before our very eyes. This is why G4 was dying. This is why G4 was never going to ultimately be successful, because G4 was built off of gamers and the gaming world, and it's being overrun by political opportunists and identity politics. People that have no desire for gaming or gamers. They're there to make their political statements over and over and over again. This is the type of mentality that was always going to see G4 ultimately fail. No matter how much momentum they had, no matter how much goodwill they had, the people involved with G4 were always going to ruin it. Now, fast forward to where we are now, G4 has effectively removed all evidence of Frosk rant. They deleted the tweet. The very tweet that Blair Herter retweeted, they have deleted. Blair Herter is no longer with the company. Talk to him Frost guy is no longer with the company. G4 has just faced massive layoffs as we speak. At the time of me recording this video, it's a day after they announced massive layoffs. And in that situation, Frosk is still arguing with people on Twitter within the moment that people are being laid off from the company. Frosk is still arguing with people over her Sony and Xbox comments. This is what happens on the internet when you make a ridiculous statement. People are just gonna always chirp at you about it. And here she says, "It's a comedy show and angry neckbeards used me as a face to send thousands of F-heads at me because I told them to stop telling me how much they'd like to masturbate to Morgan Webb." And here we are, half a year later, still delaying with this shit. So forgive me, I'm tired of BS. You created the BS, Frosk. And in fact, on the day that G4 has announced multiple layoffs, a lot of layoffs, several layoffs at their company, Frosk has made a tweet about it. This is the type of person we're dealing with right here. Frosk has tweeted this out. "Let's play some games, yo. I survived." She is actively bragging that her coworkers and friends lost their jobs, but she's good to go. She's actively celebrating. This is the type of demented person we are dealing with. These people do not live in the real world, and they do not care about anyone or anything. They only care about themselves. And for Frosk to continue to throw shade at the fans while also throwing shade at her fellow coworkers that have lost their job tells you everything you need to know about her her and G4 moving forward. So now G4 has decided that they are sticking with Frosk and they don't care about their fans. Rest in peace to G4. You're never going to recover from this. This is unbelievable. Now, my opinion is they can't fire her because they're scared to death of her. I think they're scared to death of her. This is why you just don't get involved with social justice weirdos at all. You never get involved with them because when you do, you are trapped because they will pull the race, the gender, the sexism in gaming card, whatever they can pull, and they will keep you on that hook forever. You can never, ever, ever compromise with the social justice weirdos. Frosk has continued to destroy this company, and she's going to continue to do it. And it is a glorious thing to witness. I cannot believe that it's gotten this bad, and yet here she is celebrating the demise of her friends and co-workers' jobs, all while she can sit there and tweet and throw shade at people that she doesn't like. Unbelievable. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great day, and we will talk to you later.